My beloved child, lean in and listen closely. Before you took your first breath, I was there. Before you spoke your first word, I heard the cries of your heart. I want you to know this truth with unshakable certainty: you're never walking alone. My presence is not a fleeting shadow or a distant promise. It is your eternal reality. I am Emmanuel, God with you. In every season, in every storm, in every silent tear, I am here. When Moses stood trembling before the burning bush, I declared, I will be with you. When Joshua faced the giants of Jericho, I promised, I will never leave you nor forsake you. When my son stepped into the world, he carried my name. They will call him Emmanuel, God with us. From the dawn of creation to this very moment, my companionship has been your constant. Let this truth sink into your soul that you are never alone. I am not a God who watches from afar. I am closer than your next heartbeat. The psalmist sang of this mystery: where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. Darkness cannot hide you. Despair cannot exile you. Even when you feel abandoned, I am holding you. When Elijah collapsed under the broom tree, exhausted and broken, I did not scold him. I sent an angel to feed him. I whispered in the gentle breeze, I am here. When Hagar fled into the desert, certain she would perish, I opened her eyes to see a well of life. She named me El-Roi, the God who sees. My child, I see you. I see your struggles, your fears, your hidden wounds. And I am here. In the wilderness, I led my people with a pillar of cloud by day and fire by night. I did not remove the desert, I became their guide within it. So too, I am guiding you. When you feel lost, remember my words through Isaiah: I will lead the blind by ways they have not known, I will guide them along unfamiliar paths. I will turn darkness into light before them and make the rough places smooth. Your uncertainty is an altar where I reveal myself as shepherd. You will walk through valleys, shadowed places where fear threatens to choke your hope. But hear me, even there, my hand will guide you, my right hand will hold you fast. The valley is not a sign of my absence. It is where I prove my faithfulness. When David faced the valley of death, he declared, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. His confidence was not in the absence of danger but in the certainty of my presence. The shepherd does not abandon the sheep to the wolves. He fights for them. So it is with you. When the enemy whispers, God has left you, remember the cross. In your darkest hour, I was there. When Jesus cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? He endured that separation so you would never have to. Consider my servant Daniel, thrown into the lion's den for his faithfulness. The night seemed endless, but I shut the mouths of the lions. At dawn, the king found him unharmed and declared, your God, he is the living God, and he endures forever. Your trials may feel like a den of lions, but I am in the den with you. The night will break into dawn. Some of my greatest miracles happen in the fire. When Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were bound and thrown into the flames, I did not extinguish the fire, I joined them in it. The king stared in awe and said, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods. The flames could not consume them because I was in the flames with them. Your trials are not a sign of my neglect. They are invitations to encounter me in ways you never thought possible. When Paul and Silas sang hymns in a Philippian prison, I shook the foundations of their chains. The jailer fell trembling, asking, what must I do to be saved? Your worship in pain becomes a testimony of my nearness. Even Jonah, fleeing my call, found me in the belly of a fish. From the depths, he cried, in my distress I called to the Lord, and he answered me. There is no pit so deep, no storm so fierce that my voice cannot reach you. The world is loud, my child. It shouts demands, fears, and lies. But my voice is not in the earthquake or the fire. It is in the gentle whisper. When Elijah hid in a cave, overwhelmed by failure, I spoke not in the wind or the fire but in a still, small voice. What are you doing here, Elijah? I met him in his despair and gave him purpose again. Martha, distracted by her worries, forgot to sit at my feet. But Mary chose the better thing, to rest in my presence. I am not impressed by your hustle. I am moved by your trust. Come to me, weary one. Take my yoke upon you, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. In the chaos, I am your peace. When the disciples feared drowning in the storm, Jesus rebuked the winds and said, "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" The storm revealed their need to lean into His presence. Your storms, too, are opportunities to discover that I am in the boat with you. I am near to the broken-hearted. When Joseph sat in a prison cell, betrayed and forgotten, I was with him. I gave him favor. I gave him dreams. What others intended for harm, I turned into salvation for nations. Your pain is not a prison, it is a pathway to my purpose. When the widow of Nain wept over her son's coffin, I stopped the procession. I touched the bier and said, "Young man, get up." I am the God who interrupts funerals. I am the God who resurrects dead hopes. Your grief does not push me away. It draws me near. David, a man after my own heart, wrote in his darkest hour, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." Your tears are not ignored. They are collected, honored, and redeemed. After my son's resurrection, 2 disciples walked the road to Emmaus, hearts heavy with doubt. Jesus joined them, veiled from their recognition. He listened. He explained the scriptures. When they broke bread, their eyes were opened. They said, "Were not our hearts burning within us while he talked with us on the road?" Child, I often walk with you in ways you do not yet perceive. In your confusion, in your doubt, I am teaching you. In your ordinary moments, I am igniting your heart with purpose. You are never just passing time. You are walking with me. When Peter stepped out of the boat to walk on water, he began to sink when he focused on the storm. But immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. Even in your faltering faith, I am holding you. My presence is not limited to Earth's journey. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. When you pass through the valley of death's shadow, I will be there. David proclaimed, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. My rod and staff, my protection and guidance, will comfort you." Jesus' final words to his disciples were not a farewell, but a commission. "Surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age. My spirit dwells within you, a seal of my eternal companionship. You carry my presence wherever you go." Paul, imprisoned and awaiting execution, wrote, "The Lord stood at my side and gave me strength." Chains could not silence his joy because he knew my presence transcended his circumstances. After Jesus ascended, I sent you another advocate, the Holy Spirit. He is not a distant force, but my very breath within you. Jesus said, "I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to help you and be with you forever, the Spirit of truth." The Spirit intercedes for you when words fail, guiding you into all truth. On the day of Pentecost, my Spirit descended like fire, empowering ordinary people to speak boldly of my love. The same Spirit lives in you. When you feel inadequate, remember, you are a temple of the Holy Spirit. My power resides in your weakness. Close your eyes. Breathe in my peace. Hear my voice, you are not alone. I am here. Let this truth dismantle every lie of isolation. Let it quiet every fear. When the path feels lonely, remember, I walked the road to Calvary so you would never walk alone. When the night is long, recall, I am the God who parted the Red Sea and led my people by fire. I am the God who turned the tomb into a doorway. Take my hand. Walk boldly. Speak confidently. Love fearlessly. For you are never walking alone.